The Golden State Warriors celebrated winning another title on Monday night. While the sheer talent level seemed to make winning inevitable, there was one thing the Cleveland Cavaliers could have done a lot better. And it was something that did not relate to how much talent they had, how high they could jump, or how many miraculous shots they could hit. All year long, the Cavs insisted they could flip a switch and find a championship level of play. Yet, they never addressed their biggest weakness, an area that saw them ranked dead last in the NBA, and more importantly, a category that could easily be improved upon with hard work and communication. Since the dribble was invented, coaches have screamed and yelled and drilled their teams to get back on defense and pick up their men as quickly and effectively as possible. Yet the Cavaliers consistently struggled against a team with the fourth fastest pace in the league. And it was something they knew they were going to deal with and could have taken steps to correct during the 82-game grind of the regular season. Through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, the Cavaliers gave up an average of 5.4 transition baskets per game. And what made their fans sit up and think things had changed was that it was an improvement over their regular season average of 7.1 buckets per game. However, one reason why those numbers are low is because both the Pacers and the Celtics were poor transition teams that would struggle against anybody. While the Raptors ranked 8th in transition, they couldn't control the boards and were not a team that ran that much anyway. And it also explains the late season nosedive by the Cavaliers to get the 2nd seed, since the number 1 slot meant playing the Washington Wizards in the 2nd round, a team led by lightning-fast John Wall and who ranked 3rd in transition while getting into the break a ton. So that brings us to the NBA Finals, the inexorable clash between these two titans, but it meant that the Cavs were bringing an unripe banana to a fruit festival. As expected, the Warriors' vaunted transition game was a real difference maker in this series. The Cavs ended up surrendering a whopping 10.2 transition baskets per game, an almost 100% increase over the first 3 rounds. But many of them were simply hustle and communication issues. So let's look at a few of the real doozies. Back in Game 1, notice there are 3 defenders back ahead of the ball with Shumpert communicating. It looks like he's telling Jefferson to stop the ball, but Jefferson should have seen that Ian Clark had 2 steps on Deron Williams, meaning Shumpert picks up Green and Jefferson gets Clark. This didn't happen, and the ball eventually winds up in Clark's hands for a layup. And a surefire slam dunk for tickets to your next sporting or concert event is SeatGeek. I downloaded their free app and couldn't believe how easy it was to get tickets to see George Clinton in Parliament Funkadelic. For some reason, I don't remember it so well, but I'm pretty sure I had a great time. Each ticket is color-coded to let you know how good a deal the price is. Green is good, red not so much. Even cooler, you can see the vantage point from your seat. And if you use my code BBall, you'll save $20 off your first purchase. So download the SeatGeek app now, save some money, and enjoy the best deals on tickets that are guaranteed. Don't forget my code BBall and get tickets to the game. After this missed shot close in, the Cavs have 3 players back to the 2 for the Warriors, yet love is the key. Had he sprinted back slightly faster, he stops this pass to KD. On this possession, the Cavaliers were in perfect position to get back as Kyrie points for someone to take Steph while he picks up the ball. LeBron slides over to Steph's side, and as soon as Kyrie realizes it was KD bearing down on him, he scampers away as if he was about to guard Steph himself. This was laughable, and KD gets an uncontested slam. Needless to say, if you know your man is Kevin Durant, you'd better be busting your ass back as quickly as possible. LeBron simply does not do this, forcing Korver to step up and leave his man. Clark is all alone and count the reverse off the goaltend. This time there are 4 Cavs back way ahead of the ball, but Korver is stuck in no man's land between 2 players while Jefferson has no idea. The no-look freezes Korver and leaves Livingston all alone for the dunk. Another example of the Cavaliers having 4 men back in good position, Korver even pointing out to Kyrie to pick up Durant. J.R. Smith needed to stay with Klay Thompson, yet freaks out when he sees Durant on the wing, but doesn't seem to understand Kyrie was there. This key breakdown led to the Warriors stealing Game 3. J.R. Smith had a big wandering problem. He seems to understand Livingston is his man, but watch how he drifts to the left side of the court. Now he's picking up Livingston at the elbow, way too late to stop the drive for the layup. Here's a traditional 3-on-2 fast break, and normally the two defenders would stack one behind the other. That means J.R. Smith would sink to the dotted line and pick up the first pass. Instead, he drifts towards Clay on the wing, no doubt because he was warned to cover the three-point shooters on the break, but that was at the risk of giving up an uncontested layup to Draymond. Can you hear me shaking my head? Another possession where the Cavs were in good position getting back, and while Iguodala's feet get tangled in a mess, it doesn't excuse LeBron taking himself out of the play on this steal attempt, which allows some nice interior passing to get a layup and one. On this quick break, a couple of things happen. First, JR tries to take a BS charge on JaVale, who's simply running down the court, but Kevin Love needs to survey the floor and realize he must pick up Klay Thompson and run him off the line. Instead, he runs right at his own teammate and Klay gets a wide open three. Corner threes are always a little dangerous because if you miss it, the other team can get a fast break. But LeBron does a nice job to close off the lane and force them to set up. Why J.R. Smith decides to run up to Curry when LeBron was already there, I have no idea, and it left no one on KD, who saunters into the lane for the dunk. Truly great defensive teams play for each other and try to cover each other's backs. But here, JR sees Klay in front of him, so jogs back, and LeBron is backpedaling towards KD. All the while, Love doesn't call for any help, and if Zaza Pachulia is beating everyone down the court, then all I can say is, what? The slow developing fast breaks were particularly troubling, and here, all 5 defenders are back ahead of the ball, and LeBron is so concerned about barking out the defensive assignments, he doesn't realize Iguodala has just sprinted right behind him to the hoop. JR's attention is only on his perceived man Klay Thompson, and they both miss Iggy's cut to the hoop. In Game 5, this comes after a score, where the defense fails to sprint back, and even though the Warriors had to inbound it, they get an easy look. With Love being so slow, it forces Kyrie to hover near West for an extra 2 beats. This puts him so far away from Steph that it's an easy blow-by for an open floater and one. By this time, you'd think they'd be stressing sprinting back immediately, but Love screws around as if he's going to steal a pass, and JR is back at it, so singularly focused on Steph that he doesn't realize the ball is the most important thing to stop. This leaves LeBron all by himself on a full-speed 2-on-1, and they give up a dunk. And finally, LeBron allows Klay's gravity to pull him out of the play when he was supposed to stop the ball, and Iguodala puts the exclamation point on the fast break and the series. So in the end, did it really matter if the Cavs stopped the Warriors a little better in transition? Maybe, maybe not. But that's besides the point, really. Since 2005, no team had ever won a championship ranked last in transition defense. The closest we'd seen was the Mavericks in 2011, who ranked 23rd. And look at it this way, had they been better defending the break, perhaps they hold on to Game 3, and then they eat their Wheaties before Game 4 and still blow the Warriors out. Don't you think if they tied it 2-2, this series is then going 7? Ultimately, the Cavs have some things they need to address, and I imagine there will be some sort of roster change, but they also need to look internally at their fundamentals, or else another young, quick team that likes to run will inflict some real damage before the finals, and they might not be able to overcome it. Sports fans, to see more of our great NBA content and analysis, make sure to hit the subscribe button, but also click the bell and adjust your settings so you can get an alert the second our videos drop, because trust me, you're going to want them hot and fresh. You in?